I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job.
Tell me why. Why can't we live together? Tell me why. Why can't we live together? Everybody wants to live together. Why can't we live together?
Hello, all you melanated beauties, sun-kissed by God's lips. This is Coy with your black tea sip. I'm sipping power to pour you the truth. Go grab your cup. Let's fill it up.
All right. Welcome to the black tea sip. This is Coy, and I want you to go grab your cups because I'm going to heat it up, baby. Listen, a lot has happened. I know that it is supposed to be a hot girl summer, but it looks like it's a conclave summer for the hot girls. So we are going to talk about all the women that have mounted up and taken up, flown, drove, ran, walked, trained, planed to Charlotte, North Carolina. They say the city is lit with purple and gold and women galore. It is almost as if they have invited these women to come. And I just think now you know what, y'all, this is funny. Because we have started a dating segment on this show because so many people were talking about they either couldn't find a man, the men, and what it boiled down to is people are not equipped to date. They don't know how to date. They don't know dating protocols, and they have too many expectations very early on. And I just thought, well, let's deal with that. But I thought it was hilarious the way y'all mounted up, because listen, y'all been listening to these Omega wives and girlfriends and things, and they telling y'all that Omega man is the way to go. And perhaps that is not untrue, but are you prepared to be with an Omega man or any man? Because listen, I recently had I had a conversation with someone, and she was saying that online dating was not for her. Well, I'm doing a segment with Lola's Love Life on online dating. Lola's taking care of some business days, so she won't be here. But on Lola's Love Life, we do talk about online dating because she is online dating. And so I thought it was funny that one of the things that it annoyed her with online dating is, because you communicate, and then you make a decision if you want to, kind of take it offline and talk on the phone and that kind of thing. And so one of the things that one of my sorority sisters, who's a very attractive woman, said was she was annoyed. She was annoyed by the fact that people like a guy would say, "You're so beautiful." And I said, "Why does that annoy you? Do you not think you're beautiful?" And she said, and this is a direct quote, "I think I have beautiful features, but I don't think that I'm beautiful." Well, now, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So what I found to be so perplexing, let's use that word, perplexing, was the fact that she could not rest in the fact that this guy thought she was, in fact, beautiful. Well, he may be seeing something that she's not seeing. And so because of that, she decided she didn't want to be bothered. And I thought, wow, because he paid you a compliment. So I want to talk about that today. I want to talk about the fact that people are out here in these dating streets and wondering why they can't find anybody. You can't even take a compliment. How many men that watch my show actually have told a woman she looked nice and she frowned up or she said something unnecessary? That's the word I'm going to use. I mean, I'm thinking to myself, why? Because when a man stopped me in the airport and told me, "You are simply beautiful," I said, "You are simply right." And I kept walking and he laughed and I laughed. So, I'm confused about what the expectations are, the how comes and the whys. I'm confused because if you are dating, then you think enough of yourself where you believe that people are going to find you interesting and they're going to find you attractive. And if you're on online dating, all he can do is see you. It's all he can do is see your face. I mean, he can't do anything else. I mean, what is it that you think he's going to do? You think he's going to say, oh, I bet she's really smart. He's going to look at you and say, I bet she is a good Christian woman. Unless, she's just a full-figured woman, he's probably not assuming you can cook. And a lot of women don't cook now, so he's probably assuming that you are a DoorDash guru. So what else? What else is he going to see to make him decide that he wants to reach out to you other than what you look like? And if you are online dating, you have taken the very best picture you can take. You have taken it and retaken it and taken it again because you're trying to get the right angles and you're trying to hold it up. You've asked your niece, your nephew, your child to help you. How do you hold it up? You're asking for critiques because you are trying to take the best picture. Why are you trying to take the best picture? So you can be seen in the best light. So when they look at you, they want to talk to you. So why are you upset that he commented on the way you look? That's all he had to go on. That's all he has to go on online dating. That's all he has to go on if you're in the club, if you're in the Target. Now, let me say this. I do understand, ladies, I get it. When you look toe up, from the floor up, your hair is in a messy bun, you just run into the store because you're trying to make these cupcakes for the church bake sale, and you ran out of milk. You didn't have enough heavy cream. You didn't have enough half and half. Whatever your thing is, you run to Target or to godforsaken Walmart. That's the armpit of society, but we do sometimes go there. And then, this guy's like, now look, fellas, y'all got to stop that. Hey, Miss Lady. Sir, the Miss Lady is so played. We don't like it. We don't like it, sir. So when that happens, you have to be able to take the compliment in stride and keep it moving. That's what you have to do. But you don't need to have a lot of attitude and talk crazy, because you know what? That energy carries forward. It carries forward to the next guy that you end up talking to. It is carrying forward. So you take all of this negative energy into every situation that you're in. Well, then you won't know why you're not successfully dating. And then you are in a perpetual cycle of dating, because you keep putting all your eggs in one basket. I keep telling y'all to date. Date does not mean sleep with all the guys. It means date, get to know them. But how you gonna get to know you if you mad because he said you were beautiful? That I just don't get it. I'm so confused. So this is what I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about several things. I want to talk to you about why they are trying to use us and why they're trying to use the black church and Kim Burrel with her is saying the ridiculous things she's saying. I want to talk to you about that, but I want to start telling you how to date. So let's talk about your first date. You meet a girl, you like her, you decide that you want to take her out, okay? I'm going to tell the fellas like I'm going to tell the ladies. If you, listen, everybody go through a trial in their life. Now, it's okay to not be okay. It's just not okay to stay there. That's what we're doing with that, okay? Now, listen to me. If you know that your expectation is that she doesn't order from a certain side of the menu, sir, don't try to take that lady out. Just stop. Because so many guys are trying to date when you don't have the financial resources today. Listen, dating costs money. You don't have the money? Stop being out here. Look, no money, no honey. So stop trying to get a girl when you know that you are not financially stable. You go on your first date and then you tell the girl that you've had 2 repos and an eviction because you want to make sure you're upfront with her. You need to make sure that that's all past tense and you're not staring down the barrel of that happening again. So don't try to take her out. And you can admire her from afar. And if it's meant to be, guess what'll happen? You'll see her again. But y'all need to stop this because I told you, you have the right to do whatever it is you want to do, except take or make a victim along the way. And if you are out here trying to date, you are feloniously dating. If you are out here trying to date somebody and you know you don't have the financial resources to do that, then don't do it. Don't get mad at her because she didn't offer to leave a tip. Listen, that's silly. Don't get mad at her because she didn't offer to leave the tip. You supposed to be able to handle it all. You asked her out. Now, ladies, if you ask the man out, then you should pay for the date. Now, a lot of people about to get mad. I'm just going to keep it 100. I'm going to tell you what Jesus loves. This ain't nothing but the truth. If you ask John that you see every day in the, on the first floor of your office building, and y'all have coffee break at the same time, and John has not made a move, then go ahead and ask John, would he like to meet you tomorrow for coffee, and buy his coffee. Now, he very well may say, no, thank you, but he's going to appreciate it. Listen, I went to law school with this guy named Kenny Gary. Kenny and I are still friends, talk every now and then. But Kenny's father is a very wealthy attorney in South Florida, very wealthy. He owned 3 planes when Kenny and I were all in school together. One was a 727. Very wealthy attorney. Every time we went out, our little crew, Kenny a lot of times would just pay for, like it'd be 2 or 3 girls, he would just go ahead and pay for it. If we went to dinners, the expectation was he was rich. Kenny was not rich. His parents were rich. His dad was wealthy. Everything he got was from them, so he wasn't rich. And none of us had a job. We went to school. And I remember he called me. He said, hey, the such and such movie is out. I've been wanting to see it. You want to see it? I said, yeah, I want to see it. So he said, well, I'll come by and get you. And we went to the movie theater. And I said, I'll pay for the tickets. You get go on in and get the popcorn. And the look on his face, he couldn't believe it. And he was like, you're going to pay for it? I said, yeah, you pay all the time. I'll pay for it. Now, we were cool. But if this is somebody I'm interested in, buy the daggum $8 coffee. Y'all already paying $8,722 for gas. So just go on and buy the $8 coffee. I mean, y'all all want to be ballers. That's what you should do. Because you asked John in your building, who has the same coffee break time, you asked him to meet you for coffee. So buy the coffee. I think there is this idea that you can be too vulnerable, and if you're too vulnerable, then they're going to get over on you. You can't do that. If you do that, then what you are doing is you're setting yourself up. You're literally putting yourself in a position to not, and listen to me, you're putting yourself in a position to not date anybody, ever. Because you are waiting, whether you're a man or a woman, a rooster or a hen, you are putting yourself in a position to not date because you are afraid to be vulnerable. That's what dating is. That's the only way you're going to get to know someone is vulnerability. So if that is what you want to take this person out, be prepared, sir, to have the financial resource to take out. All right, ladies, on your date, on your first date, you should wear green. For some reason, green is a very memorable color. My sorority sister yesterday was in a green dress and had these beautiful flowers on it, and it was cut high, split, and she had on the right shoes. I mean, she looked amazing yesterday. And I told Gayon, I said, listen, on whatever your first day is going to be with the next dude, wear that. That is absolutely the look. It was memorable. It was just enough cleavage. It was showing enough leg. It was sexy, but it was very sophisticated. And that is what you want to do. Listen, I'm trying to give y'all something good. Stop going out half naked. Stop that. Leave something to the imagination. This is why I'm telling you this. A man is very visual, but he needs something to look forward to. Now, I know those of us that are of a certain age, half a century old, you have some men that are dating these young girls. I'm going to get in trouble for this. A lot of men, not all, because I haven't surveyed everyone, so surely I'm not talking about all. And listen, before y'all start DMing me and blowing my text up and telling me all kinds of things, let me say this, only a hit dog will holler. So if I'm not talking about you, then I'm not talking about you. A lot of men that are over the age of 40 that are dating girls that could be their children are doing it because they themselves have some kind of hang up or deficiency that they are aware of. That, these young girls are looking for sugar daddies. They want to compete on social media, on Instagram. They want to have the big Louis Vuitton bag and talk about what he bought. And they will call their man daddy because you got a lot of girls out here with daddy issues. So we need to be very careful about who we associate with. We need to be very careful. And listen, if he is dating mostly young girls, let me tell you how you know. He texts a lot. Grown people do not text like that. Adults do not text. He either has a live-in something or other, or he dates a lot of young girls. Because young people don't talk on the phone, they text. They talk through PlayStation, but they don't text. They don't talk, they text. So if he's texting a lot, then he's probably dating a very young girl. The other side of that is, if he is only available in the day, he's got someone at home. When we come back, I'm going to tell you what to wear. Men and women, I'm going to tell you what to wear on your first day so you can be memorable and how to keep the conversation going. This is Corey with the Black Tea Sip. We got to pay some bills in a minute.
Nourished skin is healthy skin. Simply Ardor skincare products provides luxurious nourishment for your body. Indulge in rich scrubs and body butters and top it off with our sensational and unique aromatic lines of sprays and roll-on fragrances. It's simple and lovely. Simply Ardor. Love is real. Just spread it.
Yeah, if you came to get some real music with a real vibe, then you came to the right spot. You know what it is. 99.9. This is DJ Candy Can. Here with Loose Cannons. Letting y'all know we about to do this like a fresh pair of Lokes on Easy-E. Baseline shade.
Let me put my shades on. It's cooler than being cool. Let me put my shades on. Yeah. It's cooler than being cool. Two frozen shades on. I guess you get what you asked for. You can't bullshit the matador. I see the sunset, I see the shore. To the core concrete, I go hard when it pours. When it rains, pain. Club a lane, no shame. Cock back game, Bob gun, go bang. Top hat cane, come a bun, 2 chains. Looking like a Millie, having fun, Lil Wayne. I've been this way since I paid for my school grades. By the pool, sipping Kool-Aid. We shake in the finger waves. Play dates in the backseat, bitch, I'm on my cool J. Take pride in surviving the stakes as I take the ride. Just hoping don't no break supply. First to rise, I want the whole cake, the pie. The lights are blinding, hold up, let me put my shades on. It's cooler than being cool. Let me put my shades on. Yeah. It's cooler than being cool. 2 frozen shades on.
My hands, pockets in the spliffs, farther to your flow. Wards in the cliffs, I push off the cliff just to see what your falls like. Just to see what your balls like. I drag nuts, can't carry too heavy. Busting down your walls like Katrina did the levee. Knocking in your box, Capri Chevy 99.9 UMG. If today was today, then tonight we should play. I clear up my evening, hit me up around 8. I'm giving one dolo shot. Down and come up like a pogo hop. Rocker wearing down to the polo shop. Friday night lights, let my mojo pop. Better get your photos copped. TMZ flashing in the photos. What's cooler than being cool?
Let me put my shades on. It's cooler than being cool. Let me put my shades on. You didn't know what you was getting. It's Big Papa, Big Pimpin'. I'm a showstopper, helicopter, go Venice. Flying over suckers screaming, this is no scrimmage. This is no gimmick, no Instagram image. Papa's got a brand new bag and I'm in it. Looking for my innocence. I ain't seen a trace of it since I was 10 and convinced that my shit was the shit. This moment forth, I own to set the course. Avoiding it dead end one way. Soak up the sun rays. Said it take a minute to sunbathe. See, I don't drown, I get down and ride waves. Kanye the coach, in case close it's over. Dirt off my shoulders, change clothes to show ya. Supreme flow, need a queen, I'm King Cobra. Toast to not leaving here sober. Let me put my shades on. It's cooler than being cool. Let me put my shades on. Yeah. It's cooler than being cool. 2 frozen shades on.
back. If you're just joining us, this is Coy with the Black Tea Sip. We're going to talk about dating because I was just really floored to hear one of my sorority sisters say she became very annoyed when men would approach her online for online dating and tell her she was beautiful. I was like, well, don't you think you're beautiful? So we're talking about that today, and I wanted to talk about just certain things you're not supposed to do. If you know that you cannot go out and successfully pay for the meal or whatever it is she wants to do, then you probably don't ask her. I want to say this before we go back to what to wear and how to steer the conversation. Fellas, stop saying a woman is high maintenance because she has high standards. Stop acting like something is wrong with her because she likes nice things. What has happened in the black family is they have elevated the black woman over the black man. When we're working a campaign, and mostly it's been judicial races, we have noticed that there are really no black men that are running for these benches and running for judge in Dallas County. But black women have taken over. It's gone from a good old boys club to what they call the Black Girls Club. And with that, it's really disheartening because now you've taken the black woman and put her in a position of authority. You've also put her in a certain tax bracket. And then we don't have black men in those same positions. We have, all that comes to mind really is Moyer. That's all I can think about. So with that being said, it's disheartening because these men are not, they're not in the financial tax bracket of the women. So what does that do for home? And it takes a very strong man to allow his woman to be successful and to help her do that, to cheerlead her, to make sure, because every man can't do it. Women, stop trying to make a man celebrate you when he's incapable of doing that. If he's having a problem, if he's saying things like, that's a very expensive bag, I wouldn't pay that kind of money for a bag. Well, sir, you shouldn't pay that kind of money for a bag because you're a sir. You shouldn't be pricing bags, sir. But that's what she likes. And if she likes nice things and you know the nice things are out of your particular tax bracket, then don't approach that woman. Because being critical of who she is because you can't afford it is a you thing. It's not a her thing. And so you find these pair-ups with people, and then the woman says, well, he has a problem with it because I make more money, or he has a problem with it. But there were signs before y'all got to the point where there's a problem. I think people are so desperate to be together. We're not trying to be evenly yoked. We're not taking the time to actually investigate whether or not this person is for me based on the first few conversations. And you don't have to call nobody to quit them. Like, you can just fizzle out. You can just let it go. So I want, and I want to say this, ladies. Oftentimes, you all are saying, like my sorority sister says she want a man that's 6'2", and she 5'5". Why does he have to be 6'2"? Why can he not be, excuse me, why can he, if you're not into short men, I get it. I'm 5'4", I'm not into short men. I understand you have your preferences, but why is 6'2" the standard? Why is it not just taller than me in my heels? Because to me, that makes sense. If you're wearing heels and you want him to be taller than you, you don't want to look on top of his head, I can get that. Because you don't want to feel like you with somebody and they about to just lay out a yellow brick road and everybody talking about follow. I get that. I understand that. But why 6'2"? You 5'5". Okay, even if you were to put on 5-inch heels, and this particular person is never going to wear 5-inch heels, but let's say then she'd be 5'10". So why 6'2"? She'd have to put on stilts to be with him. So why not 5'11"? Just say I want somebody taller. It just doesn't make sense. And when you put these things out in the universe, you are effectively telling the universe to cancel out everybody that's not 6'2". When you say, I want, a corporate guy, because I'm looking for a man to make 6 figures. What you have effectively done is taken every dude that has his own business, the dudes that are out here grinding, that are making something happen because he owns a lot of land, or the guy that started his own whatever business but may not have finished school. You have put in the universe you only want a corporate dude and you want him 6'2". So you have moved out a huge group of the population for dating based on two things: height and, oh, I shot y'all the finger, I'm sorry. Height and corporate. I have a friend who works for the city of Dallas and has his own business on the side. He recently bought some land. On that land is timber. If you don't know anything about timber, timber can be anything from 10,000 to 100,000 or more, depending on how many trees you have on your land. But then he cleared out a lot of the debris, and he's got the people coming to get the timber and all the stuff that was on the land. He's cleared it out, getting ready for deer season. Deer season renders $2,000 a head. Now, this is a guy who works for the city. He is not a college graduate, but he got paper. See what I'm saying? You want a man that is financially independent, and then you want him to be, if you're a Christian, you want him to be God-fearing. If you're spiritual, you want him to be spiritual. You want him to be kind and loving and will listen to you, because, we talk a lot. I really talk a lot. So I need somebody who can listen. But I cannot say I only want this height. I only want this job description. I only want, his family to look like this, because you are effectively canceling out people that may be good for you in the universe. Now, somebody's out there right now saying, well, if it's for me, it's for me. Maybe, maybe not. So I think you need to rethink what it is you're asking for, because the truth of the matter is that you're ill-prepared. You're ill-prepared to get what it is you say you want, because you are not asking for the right things at the right time. All right, we're going to get into what to wear and how to steer the conversation. This is Coy with the Black Tea Sip. Stay with me in a minute.
Do you want to find a stable job in a growing field? IT jobs such as network systems administrators, cybersecurity, programming, cloud, and computer systems analysts are expected to increase 25% by 2022. Texas Premier Technology Institute offers training for top certifications such as CompTIA, Cisco, and Microsoft in less than 12 weeks. And if you're unemployed or underemployed, you may qualify for free tuition. Contact TPTI at 1-888-490-TPTI or check them out on the web at tpti.us.
What's up, Sir Charles?
Time Bud, what's happening with it, baby?
Say, man, I messed up, man.
Oh, yeah. What you do, man?
I think my baby done left me, man.
Oh, Lord.
I don't think she gonna take me back. You know that old saying, they say you never miss your water till your well run dry.
Trust me, been there, done that.
Man, I never thought that'd happen to me. I was wrong. For hurting you, baby, for hurting you. Yeah, I was so wrong, for breaking your heart in two, All you did was try to love me, baby, love me, but I was out acting a fool. So I'm asking you to please forgive me, baby. Forgive me, 'cause I'm so afraid of losing you. My daddy used to tell me, son, you never miss your water. Yeah, till your well run dry. I never meant to hurt you, baby. Never meant to hurt you. No, I never meant to make you cry. I never meant to make you cry. You never miss your water. Oh no, babe. Until your well run dry. Until your well run dry. I never meant to hurt you, baby. Oh no, I never meant to make you cry. Come on, Sir Charles, sing this song.
I was looking for love.
Yes, I was. In all the wrong places. Yes, I was. I was staying out late at night. Yeah, yeah. And you be up waiting on me. Yeah. You would ask me where the hell I'm in. Yeah, yeah. But I would have no excuse. No, no. All I know is I'm tired of lying, baby. And I'm so tired of hurting you. My daddy used to tell me, son, you never miss your water, never miss your water. Till you well went dry, till you well went dry. Oh no, daddy said, I never meant to hurt you, baby. I never meant to hurt you, pretty little baby. I never meant to make you cry. I'm so sorry, pretty little baby. You never miss your water, never miss your water. Till you well went dry, till you well went dry. Oh no, daddy used to say, I never meant to hurt you, baby. Never gonna hurt you again. No, no, never meant to make you cry. Never meant to make you cry. Come on, Ty, sing this song. Baby, will you take me back? Please, baby. Yeah. I never meant to do you wrong. Please, baby. No, no. Please, baby, come back home. Please, baby. Please. Baby, will you take me back? I know it was wrong. Give me another chance, give me another chance. Baby, let me make it right again. Oh yes, baby, will you make it right again?
Nourished skin is healthy skin. Simply Our Door skincare products provides luxurious nourishment for your body. Indulge in rich scrubs and body butters and top it off with our sensational and unique aromatic lines of sprays and roll-on fragrances. It's simple and lovely. Simply Our Door. Love is real. Just spread it.
Asking me where I wanna be. I wanna be next to you. Baby, I'm thankful for the game that you're teaching me. I take it to heart. I want a piece of you. I wanna be yours. I wanna know what you're thinking. When we talk, what you feel. There is a problem, babe. Don't know if it's real or not. I know what I feel. I need some more of you. You and me belong together. I don't mind showing you it's real. I feel your heart when it beat. Me and you, we on the same team. Yeah. I wanna be yours. I wanna be yours. I got a smart mouth, but I want it to be yours. I got a good heart and it's beating for you. Don't have to show me it's real. I wanna be, yeah. I don't mind showing you it's real. I wanna be, 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 yeah. I wanna be, don't think I don't notice. I love how you glowing up. You taught me the basics about diamonds and snakes. Timing is precious and it's better to wait. Tick tock, baby, I'm listening. I wanna know more. Don't wanna be your apprentice. I wanna be your.
Sorry for that, y'all. We were having some technical difficulties with Facebook. Even though I don't like Mark Zuckerberg, I use his platform. All right, so before the break, we were talking about how to date. I want to talk about what to wear. So I told you, if you're guys, wear a green shirt. For some reason, green is a color that's memorable. But I also want you to think about your skin color. You know, when people tell you, "Oh, that's a really good shirt on you. That looks good on your complexion," then you know that's a good color for you. It's memorable. Let me say this, ladies. I understand that Neiman Marcus, you know, especially downtown Dallas and other places, puts their best, their most expensive, the thing that's going to draw you in. They put it right out there in the front. I get it. However, they are trying to draw people in for their own purposes. They know exactly what that's going to do and how it's going to affect them and what they're going to get from when they line the window to draw you into the store. If your goal is to get him to objectify you and to look at your breast the whole time y'all are talking, to make a comment about he'd love to motorboat you, then yes, wear all your boobs out. Show the girls. Yes. But if that is not your objective, then maybe less cleavage. Because now women are out here with their whole bosom out. Yeah, I use the old school word. Whole bosom out. And then what happens is he makes a comment about it and then you're angry. You can't have it in the man's face and not expect him to say something about it. So you say, well, he should be more mature than that. You should be more mature than that. I know y'all gonna get mad at me, but I'm just gonna tell you what Jesus loves, because I know y'all out here failing in these dating streets. Y'all say you can't find nobody. You can't keep nobody. It's a difference between finding and keeping. Finders keepers, losers weepers. So it's a difference between finding and keeping. So let's be clear. You want to wear something that's memorable, but that does not mean that your whole tail is out. Cover your derriere. Now, we were recently eating at Ocean Prime the other night, and the girl had long, straight, it was not very good weave. I'm going to be honest with you, it wasn't good weave. But she was young, and her dress was very, very, very short, and her dress had a lot of cutouts in it. And it was really, really conspicuous. She wasn't really hiding anything. And when she came in, the hostess looked at her like she was a working girl. I don't think she was. I think she was just young and she had on a Fashion Nova vest. But she was exposing almost everything. So all she's really going to get from that young man is the fact that he wants to get between her legs. If that's not what your goal, then that's not what you were. Because y'all are saying these men are trash and they're this and they're only out for one thing. But you are literally putting it in the man's, you have served it up on a platter, and now you're saying, now, don't have an appetite. And I think that's the problem. We're being really ridiculous in our wants, in our desires, and then we're being ridiculous in our communication. When you're sitting across from someone, you know, I had a girl tell me one time, well, I wanted him to ask questions about me. Okay, I get that. You want him to ask questions about you. I hear you. So these questions that you want him to ask, can you steer the conversation? Absolutely. So, you know, you ask him a few questions about you, and then he says, you know, and he's talking a lot about himself. Well, you know, if that turns you off, then there's a reason for that. He may be self-centered. But if there are lulls in the conversation, you can just tell somebody how you feel. You can say, you know, I work in, you know, education, and, you know, for me, I would really like for children to be able to do blah, blah, blah. Now, every man is not going to be able to have that kind of conversation, but there are a lot of them out there that can and will. So when the conversation dies, you say, well, why am I responsible for picking up the conversation? Because you're a woman. I didn't say it was fair. I just said it's how it goes. Now, if he just dead and he doesn't talk at all and both of y'all are introverts, that's probably not healthy. An introvert needs an extrovert. And an extrovert needs an introvert, because an extrovert will push themselves to the limit. Like, we'll just go. And you do need somebody to tell you sit down sometimes. That's an introvert. Now, here's what I want to tell you about introverts, because I learned this recently. Introverts are not people, they're not just wallflowers all the time. Introverts can bring up their extrovertness, if you will, on occasion, at times, given certain circumstances. So then you look at the person, you say, well, you're not really an introvert. And I'm guilty of that. Here, I'm putting my hand up for the people in Radio Land. I was guilty of that because I was like, you're not really an introvert, when in fact he really is an introvert. But I was thinking because he could turn it on sometimes, he wasn't an introvert. He is. You know, and introverts have anxiety. So I want to talk to you about introverts because a lot of women are dating men and they're getting angry because they feel like they are, you know, they're, oh, you don't want to do this and you don't want to do that. And they feel like they're saying, I don't want to go with you. That's not it. They have to prepare mentally. An introvert has to prepare in a way that an extrovert doesn't to come in contact with other people. So I want to talk to you about introverts because some of you all are engaging in conversations online with introverts, and then you think that he's disinterested, and it's a lot for them. So you just have to know what you're dealing with because they can be really great companions or mates or spouses if that's what you're into. So let's talk a little bit about introverts. So introverts, and then I'll tell you about extroverts. Introverts are shy. They can be socially awkward. Sometimes they have what they call a lack of strong interpersonal skills. And then it says they don't make good leaders, all of which is not true. They can be shy in certain circumstances. Sometimes, they may be socially awkward given very unfamiliar territory. So here's the thing, and I'm just going to use this for the people in the cheap seats and the people that really pay attention. Let's say you are an extrovert sorority girl, and you meet a guy that is an introvert non-Greek, not part of the BGLO. Being that he's not Greek and you've taken him to an event where all Greeks are there, men and women, that's probably uncomfortable. So he's not necessarily socially awkward, but he's socially awkward in that setting. Now you find some guys, Lola was dating this guy who he could just get down. She took him, it was campaign season, it was primary night for elections, and she took him to 3 or 4 different parties. Everywhere he went, whether he went to a black event or a Caucasian event, he was good. It didn't matter. He has an extrovert personality. So, you take an introvert and put him in that circumstance, they may or may not be able to handle it. And it really has to do with how they perceive the environment they're going in. So that's a conversation. Hey, I have this going on. I'd love for you to attend. Do you think that's something you want to do? When they start asking a lot of questions, we start getting annoyed. Because in our mind, it's kind of like what your grandmama said. Are you hungry or not? Your grandma said, you want to stay for dinner? You say, what you having? She said, what you mean what I'm having? Are you hungry? It's the same kind of thing. We start to get annoyed. Do you want to go or not? But for an introvert, they need a lot more information so that they can prepare mentally and emotionally to walk into that situation. So don't be mad, ladies and gentlemen, because that person is an introvert. They can bring it up when they need to, but they need prep time. So, introverts are usually very good at visualizing and creating. They are natural listeners. It's good for a woman to have a natural listener, especially a woman like me that talks a lot. But an introvert needs time to themselves. This is what I want to get to. It is okay for a man that you are dating to say, no, I think I'm just going to chill tonight. Why are you mad? You're angry because he wants some me time. You cannot get mad about that. Well, let me rephrase. You shouldn't, because he deserves me time. Or she deserves, you say, hey, babe, I'm going to come over tonight. She said, let's just talk tomorrow. I just kind of want to take a bath and, something I wanted to watch on Netflix. And then he's in his feelings. She's not saying she doesn't want to see you. He is not saying he doesn't like you enough to have you over. He's saying, I just want some time to myself, to hear my own thoughts, because when you're at that person's house, unless you live there, and it doesn't matter how long you've been going over there, you're still a guest. And then that person becomes a host. And then they have to kind of host you in a sense. if you want pizza and that other person wants Chinese, usually the host will be like, all right, well, I'll go ahead and eat the pizza. So sometimes just being with yourself is just being alone with your own thoughts, eating what you want to eat, scratching where you want to scratch, burping and farting on your own couch without having to say excuse me, and girls trying to hold it in till they get home. Just have some time to yourself. That's all right. It's not an attack on you or on the relationship, because this person wants time to themselves. And you have to be able to honor and respect that. You can't say because y'all are dating and this person said that they just want to chill on Friday night, that's an affront to your relationship. That's not at all what it is. Extroverts need time to themselves. Introverts need time to themselves. Now, there are extroverts that are extra extroverts. Like, I've had somebody tell me I'm an extra extrovert, and I'm like, nah, not really. You don't really know me well enough to make that statement, because I am the person saying, I don't want to go nowhere, I don't want to do anything, I just want to chill, and with age comes maturity. But let's talk about extroverts. Extroverts, they love groups. They love to talk, they be around a lot of people, they're always ready to try something new. An introvert is not. An introvert, if you are dating an introvert, new stuff is very challenging for them. They may like you enough, love you enough to decide to do it, but you have to give them time to work up to it. So just keep that in mind. They're not going to just jump in it. When you're an extrovert, you find it very easy to express yourself and to express your thoughts. Introverts don't do that. And when they're an introvert and you start telling them the things that you don't like how you with somebody and you get into an argument, that introvert personalizes it in a way where they start to become embarrassed by their own behavior. So when you are yelling at them and say, da, 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 that person doesn't hear it. Like they have shut down. So you're not going to get what you want. So keep in mind when you're dating that this person has their own, so they can make an educated decision if they want to deal with your wishy-washy behind. Your bipolar personality. Okay, I'll take that back, because bipolar is a real thing, and I don't want to be unkind. Like we say, the weather is bipolar. Well, it has been. But, so I don't want to use bipolar. I take it back. Let me crawfish it back. But sometimes they're just moody. We call them, used to call them sometimes. Sometimes they're just moody because they fall in between being really out there at some points, given certain circumstances, and being closed off and in a little shell in others. So you want to make sure that you pay attention. And so you can gain all of this information, all of this understanding when you are meeting and dating and talking on the phone. But please, whether you are a man or a woman, and I'm really talking to women, stop asking them a barrage of questions. I'm going to tell you what questions not to ask when we come back. We're going to take a quick break. This is Coy with the Black Tea Sip.
Hey, it's your boy Jose, host of Yatu Savas, broadcasting live each week on Monday and Wednesday nights from 9 to 11 p.m. from FBRN Studios at Globe Life Park in Arlington, Texas. Log on to hear entrepreneurs, artists, and local leaders in the community. So be sure to log in each week, Monday and Wednesday night from 9 to 11 p.m. to catch Yatu Savas.
Hey, this is Keisha, host of I Am Radio. Join us July 29th through July 31st for the 3-day Self Fest, hosted by Kenzie Shays at the BGM Boardroom, located in Dallas, Texas. This will be a 3-day festival focusing on self while diving deeper in emotional, physical, and mental well-being. The Self Fest will provide panel discussions, speakers and vendors, and physical activities, and so much more. Again, join us starting July 29th. Tickets are $5 for 1 day and $13 for 3 days. You may go to www.kenzieshades.com and select events, or visit us on Eventbrite. Invest in yourself. You deserve it.
America, your children have an amazing superpower. That's right. They can help save lives by simply washing their hands. Just 20 seconds of thorough hand washing after they've coughed or sneezed or been outside can help fight against the dastardly spread of germs. Armed with only soap and water and hands, your superhero can protect you, your family, and everyone out there in America land. Amazing! Find out more at coronavirus.gov. A message from the CDC and the Ad Council.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job.
Tell me why. Why can't we live together? Tell me why. Why can't we live together? Everybody wants to live together. Why can't we live together?
Hello, all you melanated beauties, sun-kissed by God's lips. This is Coy with your black tea sip. I'm sipping power to pour you the truth. Go grab your cup. Let's fill it up.
I told you at the beginning of the show, go grab your cup. I'm going to fill it up. I am so tired of my friends complaining to me about what's not available in the dating world when they seem to be not dateable. And so we're talking about that. And if you're just joining us, before the break, I said, I'm going to tell you what questions not to ask. When you are getting to know someone, we've gone from first date to dating. And when you get to know someone, you know, you're exploring whether or not this is a good fit. So there are a lot of books out there that tell people to ask all these ridiculous questions. I'm going to tell y'all, don't ask those questions. Don't ask somebody, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 3, 5, and 10, I think is the question. Don't ask anybody that. I'm not saying that it's not important. You want to see if this person is ambitious. You want to see if they have vision and foresight, and I get it. You want to know what you're walking into. Don't ask nobody that. Don't do that. The reason I'm telling you not to ask anybody that, it seems intrusive and invasive, and it seems like you're running down your checklist. And many of you are. You are doing it, but and that's fine if that's your thing, but because you're trying to make sure that you get all the stuff that you want on that piece of paper in that journal that you wrote down and you've been writing down over the past 17 years. Wonder why you still dating 17 years later, but that's a talk show for a different day. Then you are effectively checking boxes. And checking boxes on a person where they may look very good on paper and not be for you at all. So while you are trying to evaluate whether or not this is a good fit and you should go forward, there are ways that you glean that information. Ladies, if you're quiet, a man will tell you everything you need to know if you just listen. Now, if you can connect dots and you listen, you will know what he's telling you. When he starts telling you about his previous relationship, listen to what he said his ex-wife or his ex-girl did not do. He's going to tell you in one way or another. If that's the man you're interested in, then those are the things you do. I've said this before. And don't ask, on the first date, don't ask him if he sees himself having children. I understand that many people are dating and they want to have a family, and you got some biological clocks that are ticking like Big Ben and they ringing like the Notre Dame bell. I get it. I hear you. Some biological clocks are like this. It's so loud you can hear them when they walk in the door. I get it. Don't ask that question on the first date. Let the conversation evolve. And I said earlier, steer the conversation. If he's not asking you a lot of questions about yourself, tell him things about himself. And then ask him. And if he's not a conversationalist, then you will learn, okay, I like to talk, and this guy's not for me. Sometimes the other person is kind of quiet in the beginning because they're in their shell and they're trying to, work up to their extrovertness to really become engaged. You have to let people be people. I'm usually not disappointed because I allow people to be people. And I take the time to learn and explore who that person is, whether it's a platonic relationship or if it seems to be evolving into a romantic relationship. Allow that person to be who they are. You will learn what you need to learn. You won't have to ask a lot of questions. Men don't typically like a lot of questions. I have a friend that is from New York. When she first moved here and she was interviewing, she didn't like the fact, and she said, well, this is illegal, because she's a lawyer and licensed in like 5 states, right? Really smart girl. And she didn't like the fact that on interviews, they would ask her about her family and, do you have children? Are you married? And she found it to be extremely intrusive. Well, I can understand that, but that's what we do down here in the South. That is a Texas thing. That's what we do. So the idea that they are violating something, and that is why you don't want that job because you don't want to work with these nosy people. That's not the environment in Texas. People ask questions. I understand that as a woman you want to know things, but if you sit back and close your mouth, I promise you'll find out what you need to find out. I'm not saying don't ask any questions. And men, things that you want to know. If she says she has 2 children, you want to know if she out here papa shopping, and you want to ask, is the father in their life? You know what? Because that may be a sensitive subject, just wait. 2 weekends go by, ain't no daddy showed up. Only Uncle so-and-so come by, her brother. You'll know. And then eventually she'll probably tell you what happened to the dad. If she's a widow, she's telling you she's a widow. If he's a widower, he told you he lost his wife. Some of these men, you need to talk to them on the phone. If you're online dating, talk to them on the phone. Listen to me, have 3 conversations before y'all decide to go out. If Lola had 3 conversations, she would have never gone out with that old man who talked about his cousin's triple bypass surgery and his hernia the whole dinner. I don't even know how she ate because that sounds disgusting. So wait on the answer to the question. If you don't get the answer in everyday conversation within a reasonable time, then ask your question. But ask somebody else how they would feel if they asked the question the way you think you should ask it. Ask somebody before you ask that person, because people hold their personal information very private and very dear. So don't decide that you're going, I'm just going to go out and ask him. I'm just going to ask him. I mean, what happened between you and your ex-wife? Don't do that. Because you don't know if it's a really sensitive subject. When I worked at THR, my boss's wife cheated on him, which caused him to move from Phoenix to Dallas. Somebody was saying something about this guy was flirting with her, and she said something, and he said, oh, he's a cheater. Well, sometimes you had these little work relationships. I mean, I'm not condoning it, but I don't know if you can go as far as say he's a cheater, because he would say, well, I was waiting on you to walk by to see what you had on because you look good every day. Well, would his wife want him to say that? Probably not. Is he trying to rape her in the stairwell? No. So before you decide that this person is a sleazeball because he's complimenting this woman every day, you have to know that that's not at all the case. Sometimes a man is just complimentary. And I want to talk to all the women who get mad. I started this show by talking about my friend who said she didn't like the fact that online daters, men that were seemingly interested, said that she was beautiful. She didn't like that. Well, he don't have nothing else to go on. If this is somebody you see every day, all y'all do is talk in passing, or when y'all are in the cafeteria, there's nothing else to go on. If you are offended because a man tells you you look nice, there is something going on and you need a therapist. And I'm not saying that to be unkind. I'm saying that there are some things eternally that tell you not to feel good about yourself, and so you become very uncomfortable when someone compliments you. If you go through the practice of getting yourself ready and putting your smell goods on, and in the words of my daddy, greasing up, that just means putting on lotion. If you are doing all those things, it is because you care about the way you look. When someone compliments you on the way you look, you should not be surprised. You've taken the steps and the efforts to make it possible for someone to look at you and to find you to be admirable. Otherwise, you wouldn't do all of that. So it's perplexing when someone says, I don't like the fact that they said I was beautiful. That's strange, and so you don't need to shut down because someone paid you a compliment. When she was online dating, the men that told her she was beautiful, she was not interested in them. Now, let's go a little deeper. She was not interested in them because she felt like they were lying, because she didn't see herself as being beautiful. And I told you in the first hour, she said to me, I think I have beautiful features, which means I'm not beautiful. I just have, I don't know, pretty cheekbones. I don't know what she meant. But she is a very pretty girl. But that's something inside that's telling her not to receive the compliment. So I'm not saying this particular woman needs therapy, because she just needs to make some decisions about what it is that she's looking for, because a man is going to compliment you on the way you look. A woman, when you swipe, and I think you swipe to the right, to the left. You know, I messed Lola up real bad, so I don't know. But when you're swiping, it's only because you like the way they look. And then you looked at the 2 or 3 little lines that are supposed to highlight their credentials. That's all you have to go on. So when you find yourself getting uncomfortable because someone says they like the way you look, ask yourself this question. Is it true? When he says, oh, I really like the way that skirt fits you. When you put that skirt on and looked at yourself in the mirror, did you tell yourself, I like the way this skirt fits me? So what you're saying is you don't want him to say what he thinks. If you shut him down from your compliments, then you're shutting him down from expressing himself when there are other issues and things you really do need to know should that relationship progress. It's almost like the Bible. That begets this and this begets that. So if you shut him down where he's uncomfortable telling you you look nice or complimenting you, then there are other things he's not going to tell you. So you have to ask yourself what's important. Do you find a way to feel better about yourself so the compliments don't make you so uncomfortable, or do you shut him down to where he doesn't talk to you? Ask yourself that. We're going to take a quick break. This is Caught with the Black Tea Sip in a minute.
Nourished skin is healthy skin. Simply Ardor skincare products provides luxurious nourishment for your body. Indulge in rich scrubs and body butters and top it off with our sensational and unique aromatic lines of sprays and roll-on fragrances. It's simple and lovely. Simply Ardor. Love is real. Just spread it.
I've been waiting to share my love for such a long, long time. And the thought of loving you, it makes me smile. But I must be sure that this is really worth my while. Can I trust that you will always make me feel amazing? Baby, your love's contagious. We love the stages. This love we're making is fire. I take hits to go higher. Loaded up, just one kiss, I misfire. Run, I saw Cupid with a gun. We make music and use it when it comes. We didn't choose it, but prove we get it done. The mood is setting for the sun. So baby, have a little fun.
Gorgeous, Miss Flawless, rule of the queendom. Truly knows what it takes to help and build a kingdom. Fly as a mother, but the lady stay grounded. Her ass ain't the only thing that be well-rounded. Strength of flow, Evans, dope is Miss Huxtable. The lady that you don't mind giving your loving to. You deserve a toast. Can I have this first dance? Met 3 times, I feel it's my last. Can I be your Isley brother? You my sister's sledge. Arousing my mental, baby, giving me head. Over your head, eyes above your breast. First order of business, praise and respect. Your grind is an art, hardly duplicated. Vivid as Van Gogh, Rembrandt can't paint it. Take me to new floors. Thank you for the elevate, pushing me higher. Thank you for the levitate.
And this is more than a dedication. Sacred love is a celebration. This is made for when you feel you can't make it. I'll build a safe haven, a place you can run when it's raining. I'll come when it's raining. Baby, keep a lookout for the sun. And maybe we can stay forever young and play forever until the morning. Love without wanting. So many never know it where we from. But I promise if you hold on, things will get better. Be strong. You never have to go at it alone. I know that it's a lot of temptation, a lot of trouble out there. But I swear that I'll be here when you get home. So baby, take the long way. Let your light shine, let your song play. Gonna speak your mind, lemonade, go Beyonce. I love your innocence, I give the world to you one day. Wake up every morning, pray for you, then I say
amazing, baby, your love's contagious. We love the stages, this love we're making is fire. I take hits to go higher. Loaded up, just one kiss, I misfire. Run, I saw Cupid with a gun. We make music and use it when it comes.
This is Caught with the Black Tea Sip. So we start out this show talking about dating. When I opened the show at the 11 o'clock hour, I gave a shout out to the Qs. They're having their conclave, and women in droves are trying to go to the clave. Now, I got a Kappa that texted me and literally said, an Omega man is the way to go, said nobody. Why do y'all do that? Why do the Kappas do that? Why do y'all always want to talk about the Qs? You know what I like on that too? I know it's a little bit off the subject. Y'all just bear with me. I liken that to people like the Dallas Cowboy haters. Now, ain't no Dallas Cowboy fan out here messing with you. But Lord, today, do y'all not come after us? Oh, I done put myself in it. I haven't been a Cowboy fan in a long time. But I feel some kind of way, so let me just go on and throw myself in here with the people that like Jerry Jones. I liken that to the people who hate the Cowboys ain't bothering nobody. We mind our own business. We don't go around doing crazy stuff. You know, like Atlanta will attack New Orleans Saints fans. I mean, you know, people say horrible things. They bring up Katrina. The Saints fans ain't going around talking about Dirty Bird, nothing. But here y'all come. That's how they do Dallas Cowboys, and that is what the Cowboys do. Many of them, not all, many, to the Qs. The Qs is out here doing their thing. Whatever their thing is, good, bad, or indifferent, they minding their own business. Here come a Cowboy, got something to say. I don't understand that. So that says to me, and I am saying this out loud, out of my mouth, watch my face, because it's about to come out. See my mouth moving? This is happening. The only time you go so far out of your way to criticize somebody or something that's not paying you any attention is because you secretly want to be them. I'm done. Now, we talked about dating. We talked about a lot of things. I just, y'all go ahead and DM me. Some of y'all have DM'd me. Some people are texting me. You can reach me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I still don't understand Twitter, chat, but I will go on there and get my Kiki on, just like I do TikTok. You know, my digital girl, shout out to Kaya and Simona, she was like, Coy, we got to get you on TikTok. I said, I'm on there, but I don't really know what I'm doing. So I'm old. I just look good for my age, baby. So the technology is a lot. But you can reach out to me. Recently, someone told me I need to start a private group and really talk about some issues that, for dating, and we're going to do that. I want to really drill down to the minutiae. I want to answer y'all's questions, so keep them coming. I will answer them. I think that there are a lot of things that we can do without paying a copay. You understand what I'm saying? We can get y'all fixed up. All right. I want to talk about something that really had me upset. So I'm going to shift gears just a little bit. And I want to talk about Kim Burrell. Kim Burrell, the gospel singer whose voice is amazing. And her voice is so amazing, you have to use all 3 syllables of the word. Recently came out against the black church. Kim Burrell, again, is like Cowboy fans. I mean, people against Cowboy fans, they so busy hating that, they talking about something. No church has come out against Kim Burrell. Kim Burrell was singing in all the churches. Now Kim Burrell wants to talk about the black church. It's just weird, and then you got people talking about, want to talk about Jesus and want to say all kinds of things about why the black church is flawed and why people who listen to the preachers are flawed, and I just don't get it. So let me say this. Kim Burrell made a comment and said, and I want to get the exact quote. And, if you don't know, Kim Burrell is from Houston, and she's worked with, like, Mariah Carey, Frank Ocean. She's worked with Jay-Z. I mean, the girl is amazing. But she did a speech at Brian Carnes' Kingdom City Church. Okay, let me see. I want to say exactly what she said. And over this past weekend, she commented that on churchgoers' appearances and financial status. So she said, since delivering the sermon, which also saw Burrell praise attendees for walking in faith by not wearing a face mask or getting vaccinated against COVID-19. Something's happening here. A clip has gone viral on social media and garnered criticism from individuals offended by her comments. I am one of those. I am an individual in this sense. I'm an individual. She shared an apology online Tuesday, but later deleted it and released a video explaining her intentions. Angelo, I think we need to play that video. We're going to try to get that video up for y'all while I'm, but I want you to see what she said. So Kim Burrell's attack on, and let me tell you why it's so interesting that Kim Burrell would say this. Because she got her start in the black church. Where she is being able to work with all of these, noted celebrities really came from the black church. She says, she's supposedly joking with the crowd about being broke, not having any money, not being broken, but being broke, and asking personal questions about their utility bills and conditions. She says, sometimes before we get friends, we have to do an interview. How long you've been broke? How many times have you changed your name on your light bill? How many of your bills are in your little cousin's name? Do you live in a trailer home or a house? These are the questions you say. You understand it's not about status or material things. It's just about choices. Now, I do say only a hit dog will holler. But why are you saying this at the church house? And then she said, we're at church. Those of us that are walking by faith without a mask and no vaccine. And then she said, she's basically talking about well, she's trumping. I mean, let's just cut to the chase. She's trumping. But then she talks about the type of truth that makes most people uncomfortable. And then she goes into who likes to be told you're just ugly. No one likes to be told that. Most don't get offended until they know the bad thing about themselves. I haven't chosen anyone to be ugly yet. God is good. God is great. You all look great. Most of you have on hats covering most of that up anyway. Here's to you. Is Kim Burrell on? Is she unmedicated? She says, I have a great personality. This is what she says before she goes in the song. And she's always been... And she goes on to talk about other things, and they say she's always been a bad look for Christians. She doesn't use her platform well, and, she doesn't use it to uplift. She's usually trying to point out flaws that she thinks are specific to the black community. So with that being said, I think that we got enough problems in the black church. You got black folks that saying the people that go listen to the black church are crazy, and why are you doing that? And, they talk about Jesus wasn't white, but you got a whitewash religion. You get beat up, right? Because you profess your Christianity. But when people stand in the pulpit and are critical of the churchgoers, the people that made you, giving you the ability to make money with other people, well, that's just offensive. Because the black church has helped Kim Burrell personally as a child, as a singer, as an adult, has helped her grandmother, has helped her mother, because that's what happens with the black church. So whether you're a churchgoer or not, the black church has always been a haven for help. Now, has things gone on in the black church? Absolutely. Just like they go on at the karate school, like they go on in the schoolhouse. Yes, no place is perfect. But being critical of the black church for no other reason than you can is disheartening, but it's really concerning. And I'm going to tell you why. A personal experience. Lola and I have been working together to do something that involves the black church so that we could provide health care to people who may be uninsured. Because in the state of Texas, we don't get the benefit of expanded Medicaid. When Obama expanded Medicaid, so if you didn't make a certain amount of money to be able to buy Obamacare, you were supposed to be able to get extended Medicaid. I said Medicare, I'm sorry. Extended Medicaid from the state. Well, Greg Abbott refused to take the money, therefore refusing to make sure that all Texans were insured and had proper health insurance. So we had a plan with a company that I'm going to leave nameless that we would be able to offer certain provisions of health care. We certainly couldn't do all. We couldn't be like a setup like a straight up urgent care, but at least could attend to health care needs of uninsured. Well, the reason the church was targeted is because, one, it had a built-in patient list. It also had built-in healthcare providers, and it had space so that the opportunity would not be lost on the people who were going to use the services. That has seemingly changed course, and so you have to ask yourself, why are people always trying to use us, and why is the black church always targeted? When people like Kim Burrell say these ridiculous, stupid things and use their platform to criticize and be hypercritical and take uber cheap shots, then it opens up the door for people who are not part of the black church community in word or in deed to come in and find gaps and deficiencies so that they can take us down. Now, healthcare disparities among black people are not the highest of all people. It actually is white men that are uninsured and white women and white children. They are uninsured. In the state of Texas, it is them that's uninsured more than it is black people. However, the black church is always a target because it has the population of whatever you're trying to do. So if you're selling widgets, you go to the black church, you try to befriend the preacher, and then you try to get your widgets in there so that, because it has a built-in consumer base. Same thing here with healthcare. So, you know, when we talk about people like Kim Burrell, then I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Monique. Monique got her deal. Remember, she went out here and told us don't subscribe to Netflix and asked us to not. Look, I like my Netflix. My babies like Netflix. In fact, I probably spend too much money because we got Netflix, Disney, Hulu, and Amazon Prime, and don't ask me to get rid of none of them because it makes us happy. That's how I go to my happy place sometimes. I turn on Netflix or one of these other streaming channels, and then I just watch something that's you know, mindless, and I can be free for an hour or 30 minutes. I didn't appreciate Monique trying to tell me how to spend my money because I have never heard that Monique put any money into any black community to do anything that was going to help black folks ever. Now, I'm not saying it never happened. I'm saying I've never heard it. And Monique is so vocal, I think if she was really doing that, then we would really know about that. So she gets her deal. She's inked her deal. She's gotten her money, several $1 million. Let's see what she does with it. And then she's telling us, the same woman that told us don't watch Netflix is now telling us come on and watch Netflix because she's on it. This is the same thing of the other people that were trying to use the black church. She's using black people. She's not celebrating black people. She's using it for her own personal gain. And I had people tell me last time I talked about Monique, they like Monique. Oh, Monique this. Monique ain't shit. Yes, I've said it. Monique was always talking about big girls, then she went and lost weight, left all the big girls in the wind. Just like Lizzo. Y'all pay attention to Lizzo. Lizzo is shedding those pounds, ain't told by nobody nothing. She ain't out here big and beautiful and showing all her public hairs anymore. She is losing weight. But she haven't told the big girls to cover up their bellies. She ain't told them that. They still running around here, opening up with all their belly explained. And why are people's butt cheeks hanging out? I talked about dating. I'm sorry. I would be remiss. If you don't want him to grab your derriere, then why is it hanging out your shorts, ma'am? Okay, I'm just going to leave that there. I'm not going to go any further. I'm just floored, flabbergasted, and appalled. Monique, y'all go on and watch that special, but if you do, you're a fool. I'm going to make a point to not watch it. Because Monique is not even funny. So let's just keep it 100. Let's keep it 1,000. Monique is not funny. Now, we were happy for the big girl who made fun, the skinny girls, and we were happy for her because, you know, the black community, we're happy for anybody who seems to be making it. But Monique is using you. She has used D.L. Hughley's daughter. She has used an opportunity where she should have been trying to make some money and become relevant again as far as comedy shows are concerned, but she acted a fool. I think that Monique is typical when we talk about dating of the black woman. Like she says, you know, they say when Monique is married, she calls her husband daddy. Her husband is daddy. That's incestuous, creepy, and weird. So when we are talking about the kind of people that we should be involved with, whether it is our platonic relationships, whether it is in our dating life and our romantic relationships, or it's just what we allow in our spirit, in our space, in our energy, Monique is toxic. And there are some of you out there that are Moniques. And there are some men that are with some Moniques and they are being called daddy. And you wonder why you're in this perpetual cycle. Using people for your own gain, whether you are a celebrity or a clerk at Sprouts grocery store, makes you toxic. And you are ruining other people. And I am suggesting do not watch Monique, because that show needs to underperform in such a way that she has to come to the black community and ask for our forgiveness and ask us to come back and support her. And she has to do it in a way that's humble and in a way that makes sense. Because truthfully, Monique only cares about Monique. And y'all need to stop giving her a platform because she's using us the same way they did from the cotton field. This is Coy with the Black Tea Sip. I had to take a break. We're going to pay some bills, and I'll be right back in a minute.
Do you want to find a stable job in a growing field? IT jobs such as network systems administrators, cybersecurity, programming, cloud, and computer systems analyst are expected to increase 25% by 2022. Texas Premier Technology Institute offers training for top certifications such as CompTIA, Cisco, and Microsoft in less than 12 weeks. And if you're unemployed or underemployed, you may qualify for free tuition. Contact TPTI at 1-888-490-TPTI or check them out on the web at tpti.us.
Got Louis on my eyes, but you got them days. Took you a whole year to bounce back. Took me a couple days. You hitting licks, I'm getting rich. I'm hitting C notes. Watch what you say. I got a pick. I can show you what he know. He can do tricks. He with the shit. Do what I tell him to. If he get at you, I plead the fifth. I didn't tell him to. I hit the block. The block was hot. I had to drop the top. Remember the name. Never forget the face. I'm coming back. Won't now. Go get your phone now. Yeah. Won't now. Go get your phone now. You should watch me shine. Look like I hit the lotto. Now I be on my grind. Bitches think I hit the lotto. You should watch me shine. Look like I hit the lotto. Now bitches think I'm lying. Nah, I ain't hit the lotto. Oh, now. Go get your phone now. Cause I'm in a zone now. This is my town. Turn off the lights now. Cause I'm shutting shit down. Sending shots to all my haters. No, I don't promote violence. Where is the waiter? Sign autographs later. Then I gotta go. Sign autographs on the back of my check. Minding my business. Yeah, that's
the dildo of the day, and I will do Black excellence. Well, I mean, it's a lot of dildos. We got the January 6th hearing, so I mean, it's a lot of dildos. But Donald Trump has never stopped being a dildo, so I just kind of stopped doing that because he reigns as the dildo supreme. So I want to do Black excellence, and I have the pleasure, the honor, and the esteemed privilege to bring on my friend Patrice Withers, who was recently awarded. Yesterday we went to the award ceremony. 40 Under 40 award for people that were 40 people that were recognized out of 300 nominees for outstanding work in the community, and they're under 40 years old. Hi, Patrice.
Hello, how are you?
Good. Turn up a little bit. So I'm so glad that you had the opportunity to call in, and I want everybody to see Patrice, so they'll bring up a picture of you. But let's talk about the event, and let's talk about, because there are some people that are doing some phenomenal things that watch this show that may not even know that this is an opportunity to be recognized for what they're doing. And I know that most people like yourself who do these wonderful things and are always working for the betterment of the community are not necessarily looking for recognition. That's why it's so good when people stop and recognize you for the things you're doing. So what was the process like? And how did you find out that you were a nominee?
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Coy, first of all, for bringing me on to the show. Of course, I consider you one of my really close and dear friends, so I appreciate you for accepting the invitation to be there. But the process for the Dallas Business Journal 40 Under 40 awards and any other awards that they offer, it's a pretty intensive process where you have a nomination period that may open up at the first of the year, and you have until maybe April or May to apply, and then you find out about a month later if indeed you have made the list. But you can't nominate yourself. You have to have someone to nominate you. And so I had the privilege and honor of my company, First United Bank, actually nominating me for the opportunity. My regional president of the bank, who I report to, actually nominated me. And, you know, from there I found out from the Dallas Business Journal that indeed I had been selected after they sifted through well over 300 nominations.
So let's talk about your bank, First United Bank. It is now my bank because just because of their philosophy and because of you, let's be honest, all of us that have joined the bank, we joined because of you. But let's talk about the bank, because what people may not know is it is what is considered a wealthy white bank, if you didn't know any better. If you didn't know that they really do strive for diversity and inclusion, and you just walk through the door, you would think that, there were hardly no black people or brown people that work for this bank. But that's not the case, right?
Right. Well, First United Bank is a community bank. And what's so different about us is that we are a faith-based organization. Now, I won't tell you where to put your faith and what to put your faith in, but as a Christian believer, it's a really unique bank model concept where we put God first, family second, and work last, which, is really the way we're prescribed to live. So that philosophy and how we work directly in our community. So we're broken down into markets. So I specifically focus on Dallas proper and having like a laser focus on the needs of the community in Dallas, Texas. And let's be honest, I put the focus in Oak Cliff in South Dallas.
Right.
And so having the ability to do that, having the autonomy to determine where and how we impact change in the communities. We exist to inspire and empower others to spend life wisely. And so, Coy, I don't think it was too big of a heart of a sell to get you at First United. And first, or let me say, more importantly, especially after the big grand Christmas party and all the vibrations, we for sure had you. But we already had you before then.
Well, I don't think that people know First United Bank. It was a Oklahoma bank, and then it came into Texas. And so when you think about this bank, and they say, "Oh, it's a faith-based bank," and we've heard that before, right? We've heard that before, and then they not so much when you get to the minutia of it. But First United, finding out, and let's be fair, many people that are non-black. And I'm going to say a non-African American, because you can be black Cuban and not really understand or know or appreciate what we call Juneteenth, which is, of course, the celebration of the last of the slaves being notified that they were in fact free. That happened sometime between June 13th and June 19th in Galveston, Texas, in 1865, which means they were 2 years. Really a year and a half, because we're talking about January in 1863, but that's a history lesson, finding out that they were freed. And so First United Bank, through you, trusted you enough to allow me to come on and be the keynote speaker for the first, or I should say inaugural, First United Bank Juneteenth celebration, and I was the keynote speaker. Now that shows the progressiveness of the bank. But then after I spoke, the CEO and Greg and the president Ryan actually started moving. Because you sent it to me, Patrice. You saw social media posts going out, and they were talking about what it meant and what they could do better. And your bank has recently committed. How much money that you all are going to spend? What's the year? Is it 2030?
Yes, by 2030, we have our Vision 2030 goal to impact 10 million lives.
Right. And that's very aggressive. So let's talk about what you do and how you are actually going to be able to facilitate that for the bank.
So in my role at the bank, I am responsible for community relations, community outreach, community engagement, sponsorship, really all things external facing for the bank. And the way that I facilitate that is through just many different facets, be it if we're going to do volunteer work in the community with those who have the greatest need. So you'll catch us during the holidays, pairing up with the Dallas Police Department, UNIDO's division. We also have a very progressive relationship with the Dallas county sheriff's office, which is led by our black sheriff, Marion Brown, a sister. And so I'm so proud that we get to work with her. So we'll continue to do the work with them. We also support Black-owned small businesses with small business incubator groups to help them understand how to get access to capital. That is really, really critical. I'm proud this past Women's History Month, we put $5,000 in the hands of startup Black-owned women, female-led organizations. And you just don't hear that very often. Right. That's just a small sampling of what we do. We have United Acts of Kindness that happens on National Random Acts of Kindness Day on February 17th, where we touch thousands and thousands of lives and we motivate others to go out and just do something kind. I think it's just good to be kind and just to be nice. I've been listening to your full segment today, and yes, ladies, don't turn down those compliments. You know, let the brothers be nice and kind. So we'll continue to do all of those things so that we can impact and reach 10 million lives. I have no idea how many lives I will impact, but I will certainly work very hard and diligent to touch as many as I possibly can.
What people don't know about you, Patrice, and they'll just learn you. Let's bring the picture back up, Angelo, so they can see her. Patrice is actually in the community. She's in the streets. You can reach out to her, and she will, you tell her, hey, we're trying to do something at our school with these kids. Patrice will make sure you get the money. If what you're trying to do is aligned with what they are trying to accomplish, Patrice will make sure you get the money, because her job, and she gave you the politically correct version, but I'm gonna break it down. Her job is to spend the bank's money and to get the money in the right hands, and she has done that. And I think it was so fitting, and I said this yesterday, it was so fitting that this would be your job, because that is how you are. You have your own scholarship named after you through Alliance for a Brighter Community, which is a nonprofit organization started by our Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority chapter, Omega Alpha Omega. Patrice funds that scholarship herself. There is no money that comes from the chapter or comes from the foundation. She funds that scholarship herself. She mentors a lot of children, whether they're at her alma mater of North Carolina A&T or local. Patrice is the person you call when you need to get something done, when you need help, when you need to get connected to the right person. She is a giving person of herself, so it's only fitting that her job would be to give away other people's money so that the community is benefited. Patrice, one of the things that I appreciate about you in your role is the fact that you will hold them to their word, and you will call people to the carpet when you feel like they're not doing what they're supposed to do. So First United Bank is so unique in that aspect that they allow you to do that. Because listen, little girls that look like you and I don't get to tell people, well, now you said on our job and keep our job very often. That's not very often that we get to do that. And I appreciate that about your boss, Ryan, who I've had the opportunity to meet several times. Really like him. He's a very genuine guy. The CEO, Greg, his family owns the bank, and he's the CEO, very genuine, and truly wants to live life by improving other people. A lot of what we heard yesterday was about people saying they want to make the world a better place. I'm sure you can't recall because it was kind of, you did it from the hip and the heart. But tell people a little bit about when they asked you what was the legacy that you wanted to leave.
Yeah, I always, when I think about legacy, it's one of those things and moments that causes you to really pause and reflect about your life and the meaningful contributions that you're making, and are you really leaving a mark? And so for me, when it boiled down to it yesterday, I said, I want to leave a legacy of people knowing that I truly cared about them. And I'm not about lip service. I'll tell you exactly how I feel. Sometimes you can see it on my face.
Sometimes.
But you'll always know where you stand with me. And it always comes from a place of care and concern. You may not like the response or you may not like the outcome, but you can never, ever take away from me the fact that I didn't care enough about you to tell you why to give you my yes or to give you my no. And so one of the things that I wanted to make clear yesterday is that positions, titles, ranks, all the things with leadership, money, success, all of those things will come and go. But at the end of the day, I need people to know that, A, I've worked very hard to get everything that I ever had. Nothing has ever been handed to me. My life has not been served to me on a silver platter. I'm a go-getter, and I'll go after what I want. I have accepted a lot of no's, tons of no's. But you have to know that eventually, whatever is for you, you will get to the yes. But at the end of the day, just know that Patrice cared. And so I got a little choked up at the end because that's your legacy. You know, that's the mark that I want to live. And hopefully my day-to-day life work aligns to the fact that I care about people.
Yes, and it did come across in your speech because you said you got a little choked up. I got choked up. I was about to tear. I teared up too because when you talked about being from humble beginnings, you know, your mother was a professional, but your mom and dad, when you were young, divorced, and your dad remarried. And so you talk about, and you've been honest about your mom not being the best money manager. And being able, you said sometimes it was just restaurants and frilly dress, and then you were like, other times not so much. The fact that you were willing to share that publicly,
right?
You know, I don't want your mama to spank me, but you know, the fact that you were able to share that publicly with a room full of people, and I have to admit, the Dallas Business Journal, who does the 40 under 40. Along with the SMU Cox School of Business, and then this year was Simmons Bank, that were a partner to bring this event alive. It was, I guess, very refreshing to have you stand there in your truth, so confident, and say, I came from humble beginnings. Now, I'm sure people in that room heard the word but didn't really understand what that meant. In your blackness, you were saying, I could have chosen another career path. I could have done something else. But because I came from humble beginnings, I want to give back to people who are similarly situated. I want to make life better because I use my own experiences to tell this story through philanthropy. And I don't know if they really heard that, but what I can tell you is I looked around the room when you made the statement about titles and ranks and all of these things will fade. But what did you leave? Because there was a lady, and I don't remember her name, but she did talk to Sora Asley, and she was talking about they wanted to help women with trauma, and she talked about psychedelic therapy. Now, I found that to be frightening and terrifying and scared and confusing. I said, she could put people on shrooms. But
I'm gonna find out what the psychedelic therapy is, and I'll let you know.
You stay away from that. That don't sound like that. Sound like that sound like they'll have you in the chicken coop with Pookie calling for your mama. That don't sound right. But she made the comment that she doesn't go past 635, and if she does, she's only going as far as North Park. So whom are you helping? I think sometimes when we are judging, and even, you know, sometimes when we're looking at scholarships and trying to make a decision, people look really good on paper. But every single person, and there were more than a few, asked me who I was there to see. When I said your name, they knew you. Oh, yes, Patrice. Because you don't just walk the walk, you talk the talk. You really are about your business. You really are about the job of giving to people and making their lives better. I'm so privileged to call you my friend, and I just wanted to tell you publicly on this show, congratulations. Nobody deserved the award more than you did, and I'm so honored that I was there to be able to witness it live and in person. Thank you for that opportunity.
Thank you, Coy. Also, don't forget, I was holding it down for us HBCU folks.
That's right. That you know what?
Yes.
I think that too needs to be said. And I was surprised you didn't say it. I was surprised you didn't say, and I am a graduate of North Carolina A&T. I was surprised. But I think once we all got teary-eyed, it was just time to go. It was time to get off. It was time to get off the stage.
Yes.
But
well, you know what? Stay tuned because they'll be doing spreads on us and talking about who we are. And so, of course, it comes up in my profile that I am a proud HBCU alum from North Carolina A&T. But I think that's important to know. When you get these awards and accolades, you don't just have to come from these big top 10 schools or Ivy League schools or whatever school, but be proud in your Blackness, in your education, and knowing that what you were taught will soar you even above those who others think have the greatest potential.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that you brought that up, because what people may not know is that the Black presidents and CEOs of Fortune 500 companies all came from HBCUs. You know, we now have Vice President Soror, Madam VP, who celebrates her HBCU experience. And I think that for years, and well, I don't think, I know, and I'm sure you will agree, for years they discredited the HBCU experience. And so the president and CEO of Lowe's, a Black man, graduated from HBCU.
Marvin.
Yes. For many, many years, I
used to report to him.
Did you really? At what job? What company?
JCPenney, when I was doing philanthropy.
Really?
Before he left. Yeah, before he went to Lowe's.
Okay, I didn't realize that. For years at Kraft, the top tier leadership were from Clark Atlanta University at Kraft. And I don't think that we get enough recognition. So I'm so glad that you are telling people, listen, I'm a proud HBCU graduate. And while everybody is celebrating me, know this. I am part of the Black experience in the United States. And you see me the way you do because I had this experience and this education. I think that is so important that people talk about that. And that, because there was a time where our parents kind of shied away from that. I know my uncle went to Tennessee State. My uncle actually invented the very first DNA machine for DuPont. Now it's DuPont, so it doesn't have his name on it, but he's a biomedical engineer, and since then he has several patents and has done several things. He went to Tennessee State. But when his first internship in college, he was with students from Stanford and Harvard and Yale and Pepperdine, and he was very intimidated. What I appreciate about the HBCU experience now is we are taught to not shy away from it, to not be ashamed, to celebrate it in our Blackness, and to talk about our schools, because those schools really do teach you how to navigate this world in a very real way, and you are a living, breathing example of that. And I'm so glad that you put that in your bio. I'm not surprised, though, that you put that in your bio so that people understand, listen, you see me in all this greatness and you're calling, all this going on around me glory, but it is because of my HBCU education. I so appreciate that as an HBCU alum myself.
Yes.
Patrice, thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. We'll have to get you on the show live and in person when the next dating segment. But thank you for your time. Tell everybody around there I said hi.
Okay, I sure will.
All right, take care.
All right.
This is Coy with the Black Tea Sip. We'll take a quick break and then we're going to close it out in a minute.
Nourished skin is healthy skin. Simply Ardor skincare products provides luxurious nourishment for your body. Indulge in rich scrubs and body butters and top it off with our sensational and unique aromatic lines of sprays and roll-on fragrances. It's simple and lovely. Simply Ardor. Love is real. Just spread it.
Over a year.
Smooth skin, enchanting eyes, full lips, sexy smile looking at me, and I really like the style. Moving closer.
back. This is Corey with the Black Tea Sip. And I started the show saying, grab your cup. I'm going to fill it up, baby. Well, we talked about dating. I was really upset about the way this company has used the black church, and then kind of reneged. It's funny that they are the renegers. But I want to close out with one thing. We're getting ready for election season. And I got an email, and the email starts, this is a dog whistle. This is how it starts. And I want you to understand what I'm saying before I close out. Murder rates are rising. Accountability is declining. Coy, call me by name, so you know they really talking to me. The rate of murders in Dallas this year is the highest we've seen in recent history. Now, I ain't heard nobody else say that, and I watch news every day. Despite a proactive strategy by law enforcement officials over the last few years, homicide is increasing. Why? Now, listen to what happened. They said despite the police doing everything right, it's still going up. Well, then they not that proactive. Many reasons. COVID lockdowns. Well, the police can't do nothing about that, but neither can you. Economic hardship, increasing inflation. Well, now this person is running for district attorney. So this person cannot do anything about COVID lockdowns. And we haven't been locked down since 2021 was when the world opened back up, and it's 2022 now. So, okay. Economic hardships. District attorney can't do nothing about that. Increasing inflation. District attorney can't do nothing about that. But most importantly, radical criminal justice reform policies play the biggest role. The one thing the district attorney can do something about is criminal justice reform. That's what's causing the problem. See, this is a black woman named Faith Evans, who is a Republican, that sent this to me. Now, I don't know why she sent it to me, but thank you, so I can talk about you. So then she says, join the movement. And then there's she got videos, and it's just fear and fear-mongering and causing people to feel, emotional anxiety. And then it goes, and then you see her, and she behind her is nothing but a sea of white people. It's not just white people that use us, it's black people too. And I want y'all to be aware of that when I close out. It's election season. Don't be fooled by the okie doke. Don't let people like Faith Evans, who ain't never helped no black person do nothing, never, out here just shaking hands and kissing white babies, and then she gonna come to you talking about murder is up. Well, she said to me, and I'm pretty sure when she talks to them, it's people that look like me, and she's saying is the reason for the murders. But I want y'all to hear the dog whistle in it, because this is just white supremacy, Trumpster tactics. The rate of murders in Dallas this year is the highest we've ever seen. Now, I haven't heard that anywhere. So that's when you clutch your pearls. Murder is up. Despite proactive strategies by law enforcement. If it's still going up, the strategy is not proactive. Then you go back to a drawing board if they're still going up. See, dog whistle. Police doing it right, murder still going up. Then they give you the reasons, none of which she can fix. But that is what they're doing out here in these streets. Lying, conniving, and playing on our fears and insecurities. All right, we're going to get on out of here. Angelo and I, we got stuff to do. But we have enjoyed you. So we're going to do it again next week. Same back time, same back channel. Lola will be back with Lola's Love Life, and we'll talk about dating a little more. DM me and let me know what you think. Some of y'all just going to put it on the page, and that's cool too. And we'll see you again next week. Love, peace, and hair grease. And I'm out. Black Tea.